You could already see that the wood is completely shot and soaked here. That means that whole stringer is wet and soaked, and that's not good. Look at this mess. And this is how your whole boat rots. They glued the stringers using 5200. That's not putty, that's 5200. The entire piece came out, the bottom of part of the laminate. So this is the coring material that we're going to be using. We're going to be using Mamba Board. This is the Mamba Board Suede. Just look at that, nice and clean and smooth. What is up, guys? We're on the 23 Parker that we did a video on about 2 weeks ago on whether it was worth restoring or not. And today is the day that we actually find out if it's worth it or not. We're going to be ripping the deck off of the boat. Like I told the client, we're going to cut open this whole area and see what we find underneath. And I don't know what to expect. It could be rotten stringers and this whole project could go to nothing. Or it could be just that the deck is messed up and we could just repair it and be done with it. I've already gone ahead, my father's gone ahead and taken off all of the hatches and the chairs, the pedestal chairs here, and all the, you know, this little hatch over here, this hatch back here. That's gonna need replacing, and so is this one. Not only are we gonna do the deck, but we're also gonna fix this splitting back here. That should be a fairly easy thing to do. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make about a 4-inch line all across, all around this whole area. Because we're going to only repair, this is going to be a partial repair, as I said in the last video. We're only going to go up to here. I drilled these holes over here and I didn't find any wet wood all the way across this whole area here. So from here forward, there's nothing that bolts really into the deck, you know, other than the console. Hopefully it isn't that bad, so we'll find out today, and I'm sure the client is also eager to find out as well. All right, so I made my cut lines. You could already see that the wood is completely shot and soaked here. So this is not going to be good. It should be easy to come out. I'm going to make a cut right across here. And then we'll fix whatever that is when we have to. And we have a 6-inch space here and then a 6-inch space from here. And if we have to cut back, we will. But we're going to cut this out now in a second. So let's get to cutting. All right, so we made our cuts. We still have to do this little corner connecting piece over there, and then this one here as well. This is ready to come off. We're gonna do that with multi-tool. So you gotta have an array of tools. You know, a jigsaw, a handsaw like this. You saw how easy we did that. Now we come in with the multi-tool and just finish all those little pieces. And then we're gonna come in with a pry bar and try to pry this up, and hopefully keep this whole thing in one piece so we can use it as a template for the board that we're going to use to replace it. So let's go ahead and do that. The other thing we got to worry about is the tank. I don't know if the tank is going to be good or not, so that's a huge thing. Hopefully the tank is good. So there is nails in this plywood going into the stringer, which is not a good sign. You can see that there, because hopefully water has not gone into those stringers, because if it has, then that means that whole stringer is wet and soaked, and that's not good. It's poor design, man. Poor design. Check, these stringers are good so far. There's a bulkhead right here that doesn't have any there's a space, so we're going to try to pry this whole deck up. So you got to get yourself a big pry bar, like I'm going to show you in a second. This is a great tool. Is you need a big pry bar like this, so you get some leverage and you can actually lift up and get up here in the edges. I'm gonna take off the skin because it's coming off. It's so rotted, it's coming off super easy, which means we're gonna try to use the skin as a template. So the skin off, so at least we got a template, but we're gonna have to go on more to the sides because this wood is bad. Look at this mess. Somebody in the comments mentioned something about Parker. I think it was like this old pilot house guy. You guys are not gonna like what you see. when you take this apart, and I'm not liking it at all. Look at this, there's one layer of mat on the bottom of this, and I get it, it's plywood, but there's one layer, nothing to reinforce the bottom. So woven or 11708 and a little bit of mat, that's it. So more nails. I've never seen boats in the modern day made with nails. And this is how your whole boat rots, because that seeps down to the stringers that are wood, and that's it, you're done. So this floor just doesn't pop off because of all the nails that are embedded here, which is ridiculous. I don't know how there's no water inside these stringers. You can see the stringers back here. All that is solid. All right, just so you have an idea, they glued the stringers using 5200. And you can see here, look at this. That's not putty, that's 5200 with nails. Sorry, Parker. I think the manufacturers forget that these boats are going to be opened up at some point. It's been a couple days since I opened this up on the Parker, and my hopes was that some of this wood here would dry up. That was a little bit wet on the side, so I wouldn't have to cut so much. And I came back and it was still a little damp, so what I did was I came in and I cut a couple more inches, like maybe 3 more inches. And I got fresh wood here that's nice and dry. All the way back there. All of this wood up here is dry. On this side, on the starboard side, this wood did not dry out, and it was all the way wet till the end over here. When I started cutting over here, and I cut a little bit more, and I pushed down, the entire piece came out. The bottom of part of the laminate. As you can see, there's only one layer of laminate there. Well, what happened is that material, right, that couldn't hold this part. So since all this is rotten and wet, when I pushed down, the whole thing came off like this. Look. So now, what do I do? So as you can see here, that whole piece and all the way to back here has to come off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up, place a piece of composite board all through here, laminate underneath it, some 1708, and then we'll do the rest of the deck on top. All right, so look at that. All right, so I also found that this part back here, this bottom part, is also rotted, as you can see. So I'm going to take this out, and we're going to put a new piece of composite board here. I've already taken this out. This dry wood back here, this is all going to be taken out. Mat, look at it. Wasn't even stuck to it. Alright guys, so this is the coring material that we're going to be using. We're going to be using Mamba Board. This is the Mamba Board Suede. First time I've seen it. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and the customer asked for it. But basically this is recycled plastic that is embedded with chopped strand on top, so you can laminate over it. And it's pretty much as strong as plywood, a little bit lighter, so I can't wait to laminate with it. So we got our template. Remember that I cut out some extra. So this is part of our template. We're going to have to use both pieces. Now we're just going to come in and mark. So this is 3/4 inch Mamba Board Suede. I don't know what sizes they come in, but the 3/4 inch is what I'm using. It cuts a lot like plywood, and there's no dust. There's no anything really. It's just a weird smell from the plastic, because this is all recycled plastic. That's basically it. Yeah. Oh. So here's a test fit. I mean, that's as good as it's gonna get. And look, I got enough in here to go underneath that lip. I brought in that piece that I cut off for the deck inside, and I flipped it over so we can laminate the bottom side of the deck. So basically what I have is some 1808, and what I've done is I've laid a piece here, and I've overlapped the second piece that's for the back where that seam is. So I have about a foot of coverage over where this is double. And that's really all you need for this Mamba board, because it's pretty stiff, and this is going to be way stronger than factory. So all right, so I have all the supplies that I need to laminate, and I'm using a simple boatyard resin. I've added wax to all of these since we're only doing one layer. I want it to fully cure. If you don't have one of these, get yourself one of these. These are awesome. Just gives you the exact measurements that you need. We're going to be mixing our MEK at 1%, and that's right at 9 ounces, so 10 cc's. I have 2 foam rollers here. I have my bubble buster or fiberglass roller. I have a brush in case I may need this. And we put some more weights kind of to hold down and even out the boards. Always have a bucket of acetone to clean your tools. So you want to keep this clean, straight to the bucket of acetone. Alrighty, so I mentioned that we're gonna put in the deck now. I had mentioned earlier that there was some foam that was wet. I took out all the wet foam. It was only right here in this spot and in that spot as well, just a little bit, only a little bit on the surface. So that's gonna stay just like that. No real sense in filling it back up. Now I'm just gonna clean up the area, vacuum, and we're gonna test fit the board. Alright, we laid out all the putty all over, all the stringers. Now we're gonna lay in the deck. Alright, the deck is pretty much bonded in. And those are the strips of little 1x3, 1x4s to kind of bring the level up of the deck, make it all even. So, and then we'll just lay glass over this, and then fairing, sanding, and that's it. So we're getting closer and closer. All right, quick update on the Parker. We have now come in and put the first layer of 1708 back here. And we use some of that putty to kind of level everything out while it was wet, and then put this layer of 1808 over that wet putty. And then now what we got to do is I'm going to wait till this cures up so we have space to work on this part and finish this part off. That's going to fold right up onto here. When it's really hot, like in the summer, like it is now in South Florida, you have to really measure your MEK correctly. Try to stay out of the sun as we are here in the shade. Really measure that MEK at 1% so you have the most time, and we had plenty of time working here. That's one of the things that I've always overlooked while I'm working on the boats and stuff, is I just put MEK and more or less eye it, and that's not really the way to do it. We got a nice tie-in. Remember, this Mamba board is extremely strong. One layer of 1808 is enough, and then we're going to put a layer of 1.5 ounce mat over the top just to smooth things out. This should be a fairly easy job. Got the layer of mat, and we feathered out the edges. Alright, we got the peel ply on this side. We just finished laminating the back here. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll pull that peel ply off. There we go, look at that. Alright, so I come in and fared with the vinyl ester putty on the, which is what you see, that purple, and I did that on the kind of the dips. Now we're gonna wait till this cure, and I'll come back in and sand it, fair it, and then we'll shoot some gelcoat. Quick update: we've done some fairing and some sanding, as you can see here, and we did the final coats of fairing over here. Do our final sanding now. Filled all this area here that maybe need a little bit of leveling. And now we're getting ready to tape all this off because we're going to spray some Nonskid over the entire deck and Nonskid the entire boat, and we'll be done. So the project is coming along. Alright, so we've gone ahead and laid down a cover layer over the entire boat, and now we're going to come in and spray the Nonskid. I've wiped everything down with acetone,
And I've done a very close job of matching the gel coat as close as I can. I'm using some pigments from FGCI.
We're gonna first spray this back part here that I fixed. Gonna blend that in a little bit. And then after that, we're gonna hit up the Nonskid. So we'll spray that up just a little bit, touch that up, and then we'll start with the Nonskid. For the Nonskid, I'm doing 3 parts medium, 1 part fine for 20 ounces of gel coat. I know it's hard to tell, but the Nonskid came out great. It's a little dark, but it looks fantastic. Take all the tape off tomorrow and see what we got. But overall, pretty good coverage. It looks great. What is up, guys? So we have finished the Parker. I just finished washing the boat. It is extremely hot out today. I'm going to show you everything that we finally did. I'm really proud of how this came out. The deck just looks like it's factory. It looks awesome, and let me show you guys. So we'll start up here at the bow. So we resprayed the entire Nonskid on the deck. Right, we weren't just gonna do the back part. The customer asked me if I can, spray the whole thing just so it'll match, and I color matched it pretty damn good. It's very close. Matter of fact, this color looks a little bit, just maybe a little lighter, but this is also not new gel coat. This has been oxidized and stuff, so it's been sitting for a while. But just look at the Nonskid texture, man. It just came out so uniform, so nice. I really love the feel, and you can't even tell where the transition is for where the repair was done. As you can see, it just came out awesome. I'm really proud of this. So we got the seat pedestals put back in, 5200 on the bottom with the screws. This thing's not going anywhere. And then we put in the deck plate right here. So this deck plate, he sent that over to me so I can install it. And then we installed this hatch back here for the bilge access. See if I had that open. And then there's the access down there. So man, it came out really good, man, and I think the customer is going to be very happy as well. Now he'll get a ton of life out of this boat. There's still wood in this boat, and this was a partial repair, so it's not like it had to be a complete repair, and I don't think that it was really necessary with the way the boat condition was. See if I could put you low so you guys can see the texture on there. So look at that, nice and clean and smooth. All I did for the front up here at the bow is just sand down the Nonskid that was already there. Just barely sanded. It had nothing of gel coat, and I just sprayed right over that. So I have a Mako that I'm working on now. I'm doing the transom. I want to check that video out. That video will be out this week. So if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.